right and wrong as an illusion. I'm just wanting to break this concept down because certainly that sentence in itself can be quite challenging for some of us to digest because it's multi-layered. So yes, on one layer, right and wrong don't exist. Right and wrong is an illusion. There's part of us that pushes that away and is like, are you bonkers? I've got a really strong value system and right and wrong has a meaning to my human self. I believe this is wrong and this is right, especially in terms of when it comes to hurting somebody, abusing somebody, where that talks to our value system and we're very much like, it's really clear to me what's right and what's wrong. You're trying to tell me that's an illusion. Are you bonkers? But I just want to allow one's consciousness just to expand into this as a multi-layered, multi-dimensional concept. So yes, on one layer, it's very much apparent we live our lives by our value system, and it's really meaningful to who the avatar of Claire, what I believe is based on my values, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. Just the second layer of this is almost a slightly more open self-development approach where in, let's say, coaching sessions, I will use the terms effective and ineffective instead of right and wrong to give it a little bit more of an open feel, because we all have different and possibly opposing value-based systems. Therefore, there can often be a conflict between values and then an argument and a collision on what is right and wrong. Whereas if we come in and ask the question, is this effective? Given where I say I want to go, we kind of, it's that little bit more open, because it's not saying this is right based on my values. It's like, is this effective right now, given where you say you want to go? Is this ineffective, given where you say you want to end up? And to look at it from that slightly more meta perspective. And it takes out these words, right and wrong, which we're very clung and attached to. So that's the second layer, is kind of slightly altering the wording to give it a little bit more of an open feeling. And this can be really helpful to add in that little essence of the questioner, because you're like, is this effective? That opens up questions. Okay, yeah. Is it effective if I do this, given where I say I want to end up and my goal? Is that the most cardinal route to get there? And it just brings in that slight essence of the questioner, which is the archetype that's going to aid one's consciousness in evolving and thinking about things. I absolutely adore the questioner. Probably why I like being a coach and I'm into self-development, because we ask a lot of questions. It's not black and white. It's very much multi-layered. Everything is a possibility. Let's open it up and see. And there's lots of questions that we can be asking humanity, us as a race. And one of these questions is certainly this idea of right and wrong, and whether that is on a spiritual level an illusion. And certainly in an energy sense, that point, right and wrong, is an illusion, is totally valid, because all it is based on our human value systems, what we've been taught and what we've learnt. And the questioner being able to take those labels off is a very effective approach. And just makes us question certain bonkers things, like the way we approach. One of the examples in Conversations with God is suicide, and the the archetype of the god in this book, in this series by Neil Donald Walsh, questions our approach to suicide. And he says, in your society, if one is to kill themselves quickly, it's deemed as this idea you have as wrong. And if one is to do it slowly, let's say with cigarettes or carcinogens, then it's considered right, it's okay. And this is clear in sort of certain health insurance policies. If one shoots themselves, the family don't get the health insurance, whereas if one has been a smoker for 20, 30 years, then they do, then it's fine. And it brings up the point that we are insanely okay with somebody killing themselves over a long amount of time, which is almost more the inhumane. When we approach how we kill animals, we would say, oh yeah, do it quickly, get it over with quickly. But in terms of ourselves, we take the insane approach and say, no, you kill yourself over a long period of time, make it really long and stretched out and painful for everybody, and that's considered completely fine and okay. Whereas both methods get the same result. One is fairly quick and humane, which we poo-poo, suicide, oh, that's not allowed, that's really bad and wrong. Whereas the other one, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, completely okay. Yeah, knock yourself out, as long as it takes a long time, we're happy with that. And it's one of the dynamics that we go, that is nuts. That us as a collective are okay with that. Nobody has questioned it until that book. And we go, oh, that is a really interesting question to ask. What we consider right and wrong. Why we just take that on board and run with it instead of bringing in our questioner and saying, actually, hold on a minute. Is that not a little bit round the wrong way here? What we as a society find acceptable and what we don't. And I'll finish by this quote. So it's this idea of punishing the humane and rewarding the insane. And this is a motto which only a society of beings with limited understanding could embrace. So you poison your system by inhaling carcinogens, you poison your system by eating food treated with chemicals that over the long run kill you, and you poison your system by breathing air, which you have continually polluted. You poison your system in 100 different ways over 1,000 different moments, and you do this knowing these substances are no good for you. But because it takes a longer time for them to kill you, you commit suicide with impunity. If you poison yourself with something that works faster, you are said to have done something against moral law. Now I tell you this, it is no more immoral to kill yourself quickly than it is to kill yourself slowly. So a person who ends his own life is not punished by God. And God says, I do not punish, I love. Be